thanks for giving us some time, Bill. How are things going on with you?
Things are moving forward. We are both doing the Cherry Blossom 10 mile next weekend.
Yeah.
So 10 miles is like my marathon now.
Oh, is it?
It's like a marathon to me now. Can I do it? I've done it in training, even though you usually don't run 26 miles in training, but 10 miles. Now I feel the aging world, that's the way it is,
Well, it's good you're still out there pounding the pavement.
So what do you do a mile in, Bill, now?
What's that?
What's your mile pace now?
My mileage pace. Is your name Eric?
Yes,
Yeah,
Eric.
Eric. Eric, my mile pace,
Yeah.
probably 9 something.
Nice.
Yeah, for I don't know, just about any distance. I was at 8 a little while ago.
Okay.
You try to build up.
Right.
Build up. And then but the winter's tricky.
It is.
And that's one of the things that makes Boston so challenging.
Sure.
You're running out there with Mother Nature in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are from California or a lot of other countries with more moderate climates, you can train easier.
Sure.
But it's trickier for us, I think.
Charlie was so excited the other day because the first time he ran with shorts on all year.
Yeah.
So,
Spring's here.
yes. So
It's the best running weather. I love the spring. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Boston Marathon is so popular. It's in the spring. And it's so exciting, to be out there. We've been wearing our hats and our mittens and running suits and watching out for our footing. And suddenly we have a chance to run a little more free.
sure.
So
It really feels like when Boston is, you're training for Boston, and the weather can be, it's been, unpredictable, I guess, over the last many, many years. But it's really, that's the start of spring for a lot of people. I mean, it's really, that's it, Even if it's a bad weather day, it's still after that, good running days are ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I think of all of the 6 World Marathon majors, I think Boston is the trickiest because it's on the edge of spring. It could be 40 degrees or it could be 80 degrees. So we just have to see how the cards unfold, how the weather changes. But for Charlie, to keep an eye on the weather and to realize that how you have to adjust your pace.
Yeah.
When the conditions are warmer. This is just the name of the game. And back off. Humidity and heat, are the 2 biggest factors really in road racing. And so you run more carefully, I was talking with a woman just a little earlier today who did Boston too. I think she might have done 2 of them, and she said, one of the proudest days of her life. And so that's what it becomes. I know you're focused, I can see it in your face.
Yeah.
That's good. That's what you want. If you have that desire, go for it, And but I think being careful, like Eric talked about, checking your blood sugar, very smart.
Yeah.
Then you run better. But when I run now, I stop all the time. I did even when I was younger. I stopped for water, and to assess how I feel, things like that.
Yeah. It was one of the best stories about Billy that I always remember is that first, well, not the first one, but the first one that you won in 75 when you actually stopped to drink the water.
No, is it?
Everybody was, saying, well, what's wrong with him? He's stopping to drink the water. But, you can tell the story. I mean, people were like, oh, I can't believe it. But, you wanted to drink it and make sure you didn't spill it, right?
I was in a situation where I had broken away from this Canadian fella, and I got into the lead, and we had all trained in the Boston Marathon course, all of us in Greater Boston Track Club. We had a really good coach, and we trained in the course because then it's easier mentally You say, oh, I've done this, I'm here. And so that's why when I broke away, I was around 20 miles. You got to stay taking water. And years ago, we didn't have really good water support at a lot of races, including Boston. But now you have plenty, Charlie, and it's smart to drink like maybe every 2 miles or something,
Okay.
Yeah.
Has he tried Gatorade? Have you tried that, Charlie?
Yeah, we tried it back at the Seacoast half marathon.
Yep.
And it was when my blood sugar was extremely high.
I went too high. Yeah.
I went too high.
So that's why I dilute mine. Half water, half Gatorade.
Okay.
And so you get some carbohydrates, There is a lot of different sports drinks. It's good to practice with that drink, Maybe try the diluted one before Boston, but are you running with him, Eric?
I am. Oh yeah.
So can you carry like 2 bottles or?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can definitely do that.
Yeah. And then you get your water from the official stations too,
Yeah. Yeah. I got like a running belt I bought with like a couple bottles on there, and I'll probably carry one for them and, dump them if I don't need them. Right. So yeah, it should be
smart.
good.
So, Bill, we're going to go out and run the course tomorrow a little bit. Charlie and Eric are going to go, and so we're probably going to go out to like, say, 7 or 8 miles, and then sort of end at BC. And maybe just your thoughts on that sort of part of the course. And obviously, they're just their goal is to finish it, but that course can be really, really difficult, and that stretch between 8 and BC, right?
Yeah, the course is very interesting and it's caught all of us because it starts 400 feet high and drops the first mile. And we all tend to get carried away because we want to go faster because everyone else is going faster. But I call it running within yourself. If you can kind of tell yourself, well, I'm going to wait. And since you're running together, that gives you that kind of strength. But it's a great way to experience the course. Is getting out there beforehand, before all the excitement and helicopters overhead and that sort of thing. But yeah, if you can go out there and check out the course. I love the course. I think it's the best course in road racing, but it's also, if you start too fast in the first 10K by half marathon, you can start feeling really tired, so you want to take your time. It, Mark. And So I think the key to marathoning is running a nice, steady, even pace.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I'm a big fan of the Jeff Galloway system, where you run a little and you walk a little. I don't know if you have tried that, Eric, Charlie.
No, we have not.
No, we have not done the Jeff Galloway.
We're not walking, Charlie.
Do you know about that system?
No.
Well, Jeff Galloway, he's coached 200,000 Americans to run the marathon.
Yeah.
We were college teammates, and he made our country's Olympic team. And he came up with this idea, it must be 40 years ago. He's 77 or so now. But when he runs, he'll run like 5 minutes, then he'll walk 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You do that, it's a secret weapon. You're going to finish almost no matter what.
Yeah.
And you can get his books online, Jeff Galloway, Jeff. And he's a good friend of mine. He's down in Atlanta, Georgia. In fact, I was with him in Hopkinton about 10 years ago because he was going to write a book about running the Boston Marathon. And that's a really smart way to do your first marathons. To feel your way and to learn the marathon, not get carried away, not start going too fast. Because don't you think, Mark, that it's kind of like a wave of water?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can get pulled out too fast. And that happened to me my last Boston. I was running with 3 friends. And I thought I was feeling, pretty good, but one of them was younger, 12 years younger than me. And he started getting really carried away, and I started following him. And, my legs started to really go. But by the time I hit the Boston uphills and downhills, they started to get tight and sore and getting cramps. And I had just gone too fast. So when you do the Galloway, you're gonna make it. No, not a problem.
So do you think that's something we should do for this one, or you think we're good? I mean, so we ran.
I would.
Really?
I would check it out. And
well,
you can even
how's
go
your training?
online.
What's that?
How's your training going, Eric? You guys, maybe just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So we started. I mean, we've been training for like 6 months. So 2 weeks ago, we ran 20 miles.
Mm-hmm.
And so back in January, our pace was like 13-minute miles.
Okay.
And then for the 20 miles, we were like 11:14.
Wow.
And then we just ran 15 miles this weekend, and we were 10:14.
Wow.
So
pretty darn fit. You're fit, but they say the marathon begins at 20 miles.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure why. Apparently, it's the amount of energy, glycogen is stored in our muscles and throughout our body and everything. We're kind of made to run 20 miles, but 26, well, maybe it's kind of tricky. So that's why the marathon is so interesting.
Sure.
But I think that's why you do these kinds of tricks and ways to make it to the finish line. I dropped out 3 times at Boston because of the heat and humidity and trying to go too fast, and so that caught me. But I think it sounds like you're very fit, Charlie. You're really fit, and you really worked hard. But I would secure this medal, your medal, by being conservative. That always works.
Yeah.
Charlie, you have any questions for Bill?
How hard was it going up Heartbreak Hill?
Yeah, Heartbreak Hill. My first marathon was Boston, and I knew after about 10 or 12 miles I couldn't finish because I started the race too fast. I did not know how to pace myself. There weren't enough drinks on the course, and it was a warm spring day. I got very dehydrated. And all the people who I had been ahead of all started to pass me, hundreds of people. And I started to get cramps in my hamstrings. I made it to the top of Heartbreak Hill because I lived nearby and I could walk home. But if you run careful, that won't happen to you. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. And, once you get over heartbreak, it's just kind of a great spot in the Boston Marathon because it's right at Boston College.
Mm-hmm.
And all the people are out there. The fans get more and more, bigger and bigger numbers. And they're supporting you and they're offering you water and drinks and everything. But you have to run, I call it running within yourself at a pace you can do, So you got to stay on top of this a little bit. And but we all make mistakes. Like I told you, my last time I made a mistake, I got a little too carried away. That was my last marathon, But I still had fun. I did finish it,
So we're going to go out tomorrow with just Charlie and Eric, and I will go out and I'll take them out and we'll just go over the course because they've run the early part of the course, but I thought it would be good to run, especially that downhill section in Wellesley, Newton, Lower Falls. I think that really, your running style really helped you because of the way your foot strike was, and you were able to use those downhills much more effectively than other runners that you competed against. But other runners, it's just, they don't use the quadriceps as much as in training. And that downhill really beats you up. Yeah.
It can. I tried to train for the downhills, as I began to learn the marathon. Yeah. I dropped out of my first. I wasn't running with Greater Boston. I was running for the BAA that year. And I was just learning the marathon. But you learn as you go. this won't be your last marathon. You learn something every single time, and every marathon's different. A little different weather. But I did love the Boston course. That's not my advantage anymore, Mark. I'm serious.
Yeah.
When I go down hills, I'm like really kind of I don't have good use of one of my feet, so it's just I have so many miles on my body,
Yeah.
but I still love to run,
Yeah. Charlie, one little thing that was always interesting with Bill when we would go run or we'd come back and we'd take our shoes off, and you would look at the bottom of most people, they wear out the heels of their shoes and a little bit around the big toe. So Bill would take his shoes off and you'd look at his shoes from the arch to the heel. It looked like it just came out of the box, and he probably ran 600 miles on these shoes. Now the front was worn out, but the back, it was not even touched. And we would go,
Really?
oh yeah, it was always funny, but he just had that great running style and, really effortless, but he really worked at it. And I think that it's good advice to, especially on the water and just if you listen to your body, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we got our bib number. So we're like bib number 31,000. I think we're going to be starting around like 11-ish or something.
Yeah.
Any advice for that, or as far as?
Well, that's why you would want to bring, I don't know what time you would eat breakfast, but if you're starting at 11 and if your expected finish time is 4 hours or something, that puts you up. You're 4.5 or something?
Yeah, yeah.
So that puts you at 3:30. So you're going to want to have some lunch, some calories, a bagel, whole wheat bagel, with peanut butter or banana, like around. Your starting time was 11:30. Is that what you think?
It's 11. It looks like around 11 o'clock. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe at 10 you eat that.
Okay.
Because you want to have the calories in your body. And last thing you want to do is go into the race without enough, feeling hungry.
Sure.
Because, you're burning up so many calories running,
Mm-hmm.
And, but also I would experiment tomorrow with that. What drink do you like to use now? Have you, are you use the regular Gatorade? That's too much sugar. So what if you experimented with half water, half Gatorade? And see how that goes,
Usually he drinks that Power Zero, right, Charlie? Has like no sugar in it.
Zero.
A Powerade?
Yeah, Powerade zero calories.
Okay, so there's no calories in it. That's kind of interesting.
It's zero sugar.
Zero sugar. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, you know your body better, and what you're doing. But I think what time you arrive there in Hopkinton, if you're there at 10 o'clock, that would be good if you can get out. But how are you getting out there?
So the other athlete is going to be going. He offered to use a bus, Thomas Cantara, because he used the Londonderry Club.
Huh?
And so basically the bus leaves New Hampshire like right around like 6:45. And then it goes to Hopkinton. So that was kind of the plan, but that was before I knew my start time, because it would be in Hopkinton around 8. But the beauty of the bus, though, is you can stay on the bus. So the bus is warm. There's a bathroom on the bus.
That's good.
That's
important.
Yeah, there's like a clothes. You can leave your clothes there, and they bring them to the finish line for you to the hotel.
That's good.
So sounds like a good thing. It's just a matter of getting up at 5 a.m. to get on the bus.
So the bus is not too far from your home or where you're leaving from?
It's like it'd be like an hour and 15 minutes.
An hour and 15 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I think that's good. I used to be driven up the back roads and get dropped off, and I'd have to walk up some of the hills from behind Hopkinton because I lived in Sherborne, a little town behind Hopkinton. But everything's changed. Now it's such a big race.
Yeah.
Everything's traffic control.
Oh,
hey, Thomas.
Thomas just joined us. He couldn't get the video going, huh? We got Bill Rodgers on here. This is Thomas Cantara. Thomas is an athlete from Nashua, and Thomas is actually, we think, and I sent you this on the note, Thomas has run 2:42 twice at Boston, and he ran 2:36 in Chicago. And we think that is the fastest times ever run by a Special Olympics athlete. So we're still working on certifying that. But yeah, Thomas is an exceptional athlete. And, Thomas, why don't you tell Bill a little bit about your story, even though we can't see you, and it would be good.
Oh, sure. So I started my marathon journey back in 2012, not knowing much about it. And I worked my way up to trying to run a marathon-like distance. And in the process, I lost a ton of weight. And I watched the people on TV. I wanted to try it. And then I started doing my first marathon in fall of 2012. I did the Clarence DeMar, which is in Keene, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
I ran to mile 22, and then I walked a mile because I was really cramping real bad. I ran too hard on those downhills, and then I bounced back a month later doing the Cape Cod Marathon in Falmouth, Mass. I walked and jogged the last 10K of it and finished in a little under 3.5 hours, and that was my first completed marathon. I didn't get like really solid coaching, I'd say, until like 2015. And the guy that coached me is the one that helped me qualify for Boston. And that's where I got my coaching. When I qualified, I ran a 3:02 marathon, and I wasn't sure if I was ever going to break a 3-hour marathon, but the coach saw potential that I could run a sub-3. And I just kept working at the schedule he gave me. And in 2017, I got a more challenging training schedule he gave me. And ever since 2017, I've been following that training schedule. And every time I got a little faster, I just built off of it. I made my tempos a little bit faster. And that seemed to be making the difference in my marathon times alone. And I'm really shocked that I was able to pull off a 2:36 in Chicago, but I'm always striving for better. So I just take what I have and make it better.
Well,
Bill, when Thomas says he lost a little weight, he lost 80 pounds.
Wow. Yeah.
It's remarkable. And I mean, he's an amazing person and a great athlete. And, maybe some advice on, he's 2:36 in Chicago, 2:42 in Boston, and he'd like to go faster. And your thoughts?
Well, Boston can be a fast course. It can be fast if you get one of the cool spring days, and about once every 10 years or so, you get a tailwind. And the Boston course record was set the year that the big tailwind was there. But, you've made great progress and everything. I think our sport is all about cardio. It's here and here, how we think, what we think we can do, and how we gain confidence. And that's, what was your first name again? I'm sorry.
Thomas.
And Charlie.
Yeah.
My brother's Charlie. And Thomas, you had a great story. And but I think I'd like to see, a little bit about your training and how you built that up, because it's very hard to do. You had a coach, it sounds like someone who really knew what they were doing and helped you get going, and you really took your time down tremendously. That's partly cardio. We all can improve. That's why this sport is this sport. It's very unique. We all can build our heart bigger. Our heart is just a pump. It's just like your biceps muscles. You go in the gym, you can build your biceps. It's just a pump. You can build your heart ultimately about 20% bigger. It's like a car with a big engine. And so you built your engine and you're doing the same, Charlie. And every runner is, But the key is learning how to pace yourself, and avoiding injuries. And it sounds like you've really done that well. And take my hat off to you, Thomas, and congratulations.
Thanks.
On all your racing.
Thomas, you got any questions for Bill?
Thomas, will you run it alone, or do you have someone to run with?
Normally I run on my own. I rarely run with a person. I'm pretty much a lone wolfer, which I consider an advantage because it gives me a chance to self-coach myself, and that's a big tool I use in running, is how I think about my strides and my breathing that way.
Do you use your watch a lot and watch your pace?
Yes, I wear a Garmin watch, and it tells me my pace and stuff. Actually, in the Chicago Marathon, I didn't look at my watch a whole lot because I felt comfortable with the pace, and then there were certain parts where I would check my watch and see where I'm at. I just basically listen to my body, and I notice my best races come when I stay relaxed, usually.
Yeah, that's why I was talking with Charlie and Eric about, sometimes when you run with someone else that's going about your pace, it can really help you a lot because there's competition and there's camaraderie. And when you feel you're not competing against someone, it's easier, and that's that relaxation thing. And just trying to get there is enough of a challenge. But I think a lot of it is doing a number of marathons. And I wonder how many you have done, Thomas.
I would say, including Chicago, that was my 20th marathon.
Yeah, you're up there. So you really have learned the marathon. Charlie, you are newer to the marathon, I think?
This is his first one.
The very first one. Yeah, so that's why I was saying about the cautious thing and the Galloway thing, run, walk. Yeah. And because I think it's smart.
Yeah.
It's smart. It's just common sense, just help each other. My first one, like I told you, I couldn't make it because I didn't have anyone to guide me. My second marathon was a little race that isn't even around anymore. It was sponsored by the Framingham YMCA. And Tom Derderian, the guy who wrote the history of the Boston Marathon, he paced me. We ran together for 16 miles. And once I got past 16 miles, I said, now I know I can do it, And I got confidence. Mm-hmm. I got confidence. So there's a lot of that in this. But
yeah. Well, we appreciate your time, Bill. Any other comments, Charlie or Eric or Thomas? I know, Thomas, we didn't get you on here, but at some time I'll try and get these guys to meet you in person, Bill, maybe at the race or at another race along the way. And
absolutely.
Yeah, these are two, Eric has done a great job with Charlie, and you got two great athletes here, and they're really special people.
Absolutely. I mean, This is one of the great sports. This is a global sport.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's played all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's an honor to meet you.
It's great to meet you too, Charlie. I'm taking my hat off to you. It reminds me of my first marathon.
Yeah. I was telling them, Bill, you taught school before you started running, and Yep. And
I really enjoyed being a teacher. I was kind of feeling my way there too. It was kind of like being in a marathon, but it was fun. And I think it's sort of the same thing, like a coach is a teacher, and we all help each other. But so we got to brainstorm some more. Okay, let me know how your run goes, and just take it easy.
Okay.
I think you're running it tomorrow, right?
We're going to run the course tomorrow, probably, I don't know, maybe 14, 15 miles, depending on how they feel. We'll take them, we'll give them a little narrative on the course, and they'll run that part of it, which is, get them familiar with the downhill and then the Heartbreak Hills. And we'll finish at BC, and it'll be a good training session. And
the weather looks good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Name of the game.
And Bill's praying for a tailwind this year, right?
Absolutely. Charlie, your first one. For Thomas, maybe a PR. Who knows?
Yeah. We're hoping for. What are you trying to run this year? What's your goal, Thomas?
My goal, my big goal is to try to get around 234 or better. As long as I get better than what I did in Chicago, I'll be really happy.
Yep.
That's
Getting better every
fantastic.
time. So
You've learned the marathon. You've got 20 marathons, and that's fantastic. I think Boston. Have you run Boston before, Thomas?
Yes, this is my 5th time running the course.
Okay, it's your 5th, so you know the course pretty good.
yeah.
Yes.
That's a huge factor. And I think, Mark and I belong to this track club, Greater Boston Track Club, and we all ran the marathon. We run it together up Heartbreak Hill through the different parts of the course. And then after a while, you say, I've run this. I can do it. It's just like you're going to go out there tomorrow. And so when you run the race, I did this,
Mhm.
You can cruise control it, and just have fun out there and say hi to people,
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Bill. I'll
Okay.
see you at the marathon, and
Yes.
good luck. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. And Thomas,
Okay.
we'll see you soon. All
All
right.
right, thank
Thanks
you.
a lot, Bill.
Have a
Bye-bye.
great one.
Thank
We're
you.
cheering for you at Bostonia. Bostonia.
There you go. Thank you.
See you, Bill. Bye-bye.
Hey, Eric, good going.
Talking to you. Bye.
Thank you.
Take care.